All right, everybody. So some huge breaking news in Miami right now. The Dolphins, as everyone knows from yesterday, have decided to move on with Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Ramsey, a very notable name, will be going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, as he's been a very well-known name as a top cornerback in the league, is now moving on to another team in Pittsburgh. The former Pro Bowler had a very underwhelming time in Miami, but will be moving on to the Steelers to complement that Steel City defense. Jonnu Smith, on the other hand, will also be with him as a fourth tight end that the Steelers will be taking for the 2025 season. The Steelers will also get a seventh-round 2027 pick, while the Dolphins get an all-pro Pro Bowler in Minkah Fitzpatrick as their safety to cope with the loss of Jalen Ramsey, plus a 2027 fifth-round pick. Also, in other news in Miami, the Dolphins will be getting Darren Waller, a former tight end for the Raiders, the Giants, and the Ravens, as after a year being out of the league, he's coming back to Miami. So, to unpack this whole situation, I personally think that Miami is a little bit on the edge here with who they're getting and moving on from Ramsey. Ramsey did have an underwhelming time in Miami. He didn't put up as many great numbers as he did on the Rams and many years before, but still, moving on from the guy, I really don't think that Miami has been an adapt team when it comes to him, and he just hasn't lived up to the expectations because of really their standard with defense. Jonnu Smith might get a new start, a fresh start in Pittsburgh, and being a Steelers fan, I'm really excited for this trade. However, it is at the cost of Minkah Fitzpatrick, who has been an all-pro, Pro Bowler for our team. He's really been like the fly zone of our defense in Pittsburgh. But he had an underwhelming past 2 seasons, so this could very well be a great trade on our end. But I'm really just happy that this could have gone a lot worse. We could have lost Minkah, they could have kept the 2 guys, and we could have just gotten 1 draft pick for a bag of chips like many of these teams have. I think we definitely got the better end of the deal. And in terms of the Darren Waller incident, I really think that the Dolphins are just desperate for a tight end. I don't exactly understand why they got him. He really was underperforming his last couple years, and he's been out since the 2023 season. So it's been it's going to be a very rocky step back into the league, in my opinion, for Waller. But he could very well pick everything up, and he can definitely be a star once again. But really, with Miami being such a mess of a team that it is on offense and defense, it's been a tough locker room, and I think that Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey are relieved to get out of there, to get to at least a locker room with more. Is it the best locker room in the league? No, but it is definitely a lot more stable, and the Steelers are definitely on a little bit of an upward trend compared to the Miami Dolphins, who in my book are really just going to get worse as the season goes on. But that's my thoughts. Thank you guys for listening to the Fire Sports Pod. New episodes coming out real soon. Take care.